chest as canvas bleeds, but it's my best. Ideas collide, a thunderous roar. They crack the ground and break the floor. Creativity is my superpower. Turning dust to gold in the final hour. I build a world with a single thought. No cage, just dreams. It's all I've
Keep doing things that you love. Innate Academy is always here to support you.
The sky with a whisper loud. A brushstroke cuts through every cloud. My thoughts run wild, no change, no bounds. Electric colors in a concrete town. I'm the architect of my own spark, a firework igniting in the dark.
What's up, my loves and fellow creatives? I know we're here for a good reason tonight. We're going to be going over the Automizer demo. I'm going to be showing you some things that that you can do to flip the template with, for instance, the design that is already there. But more importantly, I want to show you that you can use other templates in order to basically get a whole new Automizer experience. Right here, before I begin all that, because I know we're going to get deep into the Automizer, I did want to show you how we took last week's class. That was, I believe, 323. So I just want to show you that you can take elements. Let's say you already did like a quick draft of a design for a customer, and I'm going to put 353. I was like, we aren't in the 20s. So I just want to show you how I took, remember we did that pink and purple event. So I just brought it in here, brought those elements in, kind of moved some things around a little bit, but I'm going to show you something. This is still all pink and purple. Okay. What I did was I created a hue and saturation layer, because remember we developed all of those images with those two hex colors. Now we're able to change those hex colors together. And I just wanted to show you how I would achieve that kind of effect. So I turned all the purple to the gray and all the pink, which is our primary color, to the red, to the deep red. And this is how I was able to pull these elements together and make it look like, oh, okay, well, if you wanted to go with this flight theme, then I would go in and edit the pieces that we were going to turn into that colorway. But I just wanted to show you that that was a cool and very quick way to show someone visually a concept that you've already created without going into their each individual element, each individual graphic and product, and changing those graphics. I just wanted to show you that little quick way of doing it. Other than that, everything else in here is directly editable. I'm going to go ahead and save this, because this is the bonus file that I created for you all for this Automizer. I would say one of the bonus files. All right, so I'm saving this right now. Anybody have any questions on this one before I move on? No, Jennifer, I'm just doing the demo. I'm just going straight through. This isn't like a walkthrough class where you all do it with me, because normally I do charge for that, and it's usually at least a 4-hour long class. Sometimes it's even longer than that. So what I'm doing right now is I'm giving you all a demo. You have the pre-recorded videos, and then if you all need the Zoom room afterwards, it won't release until I'm done with the class, because I didn't want to get anybody confused and think this was a walkthrough class. Okay. Y'all have the 318 until I'm done with the demo for today. Okay, but that's a great question, because I would ask the same question too. All right, so, and like I said, this will be a bonus file that you will receive there. Let me go ahead and save it out. And I'll also be giving you all some pointers for when I'm doing these projects using the Automizer. I still keep I'm going to show you all my whole PNG folder. Let me go ahead and close out some windows here. So my whole PNG folder has whatever variation that I'm doing, whatever project that I'm doing. This is what is the final result of the Automizer. So everything here has my PNGs of everything that I could possibly create, including my printable files and my mockup files. That's the whole premise of the Automizer itself. And then inside of this is where I keep my event design file. And what happens is that event design file plays off of the PNG elements that you already have in your whole PNG folder. That's why I tell you to put your event design file, that event design file I just showed you, that's a bonus file. Put that inside of your whole PNG for the particular project that you're working on. And I'm going to show you something in just a second. Let me see if I can show you without. Yeah, let's do it. I believe it'll work. Let's see if it'll work. Okay. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this event file, and that's all I'm saying, this event file is pretty special. Let's do a file, and then I'm going to save it. I'm going to close it out. I'll take a copy of it here, where it says 327 event design. And as a matter of fact, let me do this. Let me go ahead and make a PNG of it real quick. Now this is a very large file as well, just because it has all of these large format production level products in there. So I just want y'all to be aware of that. That it will eat up some computing power and it will need you to have an adequate system. All right, so I'm gonna do a quick export as PNG just so I can take a snapshot of what it looks like right now. And I'll go ahead and put it in my whole PNG folder for my 327. And this will be 327 event design, but it's not a PSB. This is going to be a PNG. So I'm just going to take the ending off of here. That way I have a PNG version of my locked in, whatever I did last. Oops. It's telling me select the folder. Of course, that's not the folder name. That's what I want the file name to be. So this is the folder where I want it to go. And I'll just refresh here. And what it did was it took each individual, I'll take that one out, took each individual little artboard. Do you see that? That it had name there, and it made a PNG of it. And let me make sure, close this up, clean this up a little bit. I'm gonna change this one. Okay. All right, like I said, this is something new that I'm working on. So you all, because you are my #1 folks that have been tried and true with this Automizer, even if you're brand new with the Automizer, I wanted you to have this as a resource. I said I'm playing with this as a potential future standalone event Automizer, but in the meantime, it's not truly an Automizer because everything does not update it, but it is editable. It is in one place. It allows you to see all of your elements in a cohesive kind of way. I'm gonna go ahead and resave those. And then that way, I should see should be 6 of them pop up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep. I'm gonna close this up a little bit so you can see whatever's on those artboards. And these are cool because these are the size that you need in order to create your Facebook cover images. You could also break these down into Instagram posts where you have it split into 3 and that sort of thing, so it can scroll over. So some pretty cool things you can do with this. You can have these as the banners for the top of your pages. Of course, I would take off the PSD because you don't want your clients knowing that you use a template, but you can definitely keep the titles of the products there. The PSD is on there for your reference so that you know what class to watch the video for when we actually did that live in the academy. And if it has an XX at the end, that means we haven't done it as a live class yet, but it's upcoming. All right, so you all could let me know, like, hey, these are some things that I want to start doing for the event design, and I'll start turning those into classes that we do live, and then I'll also have them inside of this this Automizer. Or well, let's not call it Automizer just yet. We'll call this our event auto design. All right, so I just wanted to show y'all that. Let me go ahead and save this. And if I want to save all 6 together, then I want to show y'all that trick too, because it's 6 different artboards here. Instead of going to quick export as PNG, go to save as a copy. Oh, it's still saving. Let me let it finish saving. I'm so impatient, y'all. I'll be doing that like 3 times. Save as a copy. And if you do save as a copy at this level and tell it that you want it to save as a PNG, and then I hit save, and I'll refresh here. Let me make sure I didn't have any other buttons to hit. Yep, I have to hit OK for large file size. Yeah, keep in mind, I'm doing this live while also working on these large files. So there is going to be quite a bit of lag on my computer system and this internet connection, because where I am is rural and it has some of the lowest upload speeds I've ever seen in my entire life. So any of you all that's ever been working in an area where you have very slow internet, I feel you now, okay? I have the highest package I can possibly have, and I get nowhere near the speeds I'm supposed to have. So that was just me empathizing with you at this moment. All right, let me refresh one more time, see if I get it. There it is right there. So this one has all 6 of them. That's the difference between quick export as PNG is going to export each of the artboards. And then when I do file save a copy and I do it as a PNG, it takes all of those artboards, treats it as one file, and then allows me to have that as one image that I could send as a quick image to my clients. And right. Okay, so I want to show y'all a little something really quickly so we could take this PSB file. I'm going to copy it. And the reason why I tell y'all to keep my same structure, keep the instructions that I'm giving you when I demo and when I create these files in these instructions for you. I'm going to take my 125 whole PNG folder and see how it just has all of my little elements in there, exported from my Automizer. Okay. I'm going to paste that file here. Let me go ahead and close out of this one so it knows I'm done with it. Okay, so I paste that file here, and then instead of 327, I'm going to call this my 125 event designer. All right, when I double click on this, it should be confused a little bit because it's like, wait a minute, I'm in this folder and I don't have all of those same reference images and linked images. So I might need a little help updating my smart objects. Okay. So I'm going to give it a moment, see if it will open up on its own. And that's why I like to rename it too, so that I don't get confused. I know this is supposed to be my 125. All right. Now what we want to do, let's go ahead and go to our main stage here. This is my main stage. This is like your tried and true. Has almost everything you possibly need. Backdrop, floor wrap, accordion wall, arch wall, even the retractable banner, which is, you all asked me about that one. All right, so when I go to my items here, oh, you know what? Did I make all of these? No, not all of them. Okay, so just the Automizer products. Let me turn those on for a second so you can see. And let me take, I'm going to delete those. Okay, you see how it has these little yellow exclamation point links. Okay, so what I do is I have a folder that says showing and not showing. If you're not showing the product, more than likely it's because you're not going to be creating it, and maybe it's cool to keep it in there because it still goes with the event themes, but you don't necessarily want to create it for that client. Now, same thing here. The premise of the Automizer itself is that it's linked files, all right? And they're linked in a certain way that makes sense for updating. Now, what we're doing right here with this designer is not truly an Automizer, but what it is, it's a way to update your products. So see how this, and I'm going to zoom in here, and let's turn off everything that's not the Automizer products right now, just so it won't be confusing. So this is our entire school party here. And turn that off for a moment. And if you ever want to go to just one artboard, if you hold down Alt or Option and then click on that artboard, it'll zoom into just that artboard. Now, this is all of our 327 stuff that we can organize and say, hey, I want to show the shirt, the button, the tumblers, the yard signs, etc. I'm going to go to just one of those products there and tell it to update all modified content. Now, what it does is it looks for the links to those images, but because I have this particular event designer file inside of that whole PNG folder, it's going to look to update these Automizer PNGs with the files that are in that whole PNG folder. So if you notice, all of these products right here just changed to the 125s. Things that will not change are things that we have hard designed inside of this event designer. We designed this 3-piece. It's editable, but it's not going to automatically change. This accordion wall is not going to automatically change. Why? Because those particular items those files are so large that if I put them inside of the Automizer, nobody would be able to do the auto compute feature that we love about the Automizer. So what I've done there is I have created where the individual products that the Automizer produces, those will update, and then you can arrange those and show, hey, I want to include these in my package, or I don't want to include these in my package. Even like the door panels here, those updated with the 125 design. And this is because I already did my 125 Automizer. I want y'all to be clear, because once you do your 125 Automizer and you put all of your and it creates all of those PNGs for you, your printables and your mockups, it puts them in the whole PNG folder. And now that whole PNG folder allows me to display the coordinating products. All right. So I just wanted y'all to see how that bonus file works for you. And you have any questions about that? Literally all you do is take that bonus file, take a copy of it, paste it into the whole PNG folder. And I'm going to save this one. And I'll close out of that one. Just so we can see, this file is inside of the whole PNG folder for whatever project that you have completed. So this is my red grad. This might be somebody's name. This might be class of 2026. Whatever you are labeling this for your whole PNG. And then the event designer file is within that whole PNG folder for that specific design. Okay, and I'll do this one more time because I'm actually honestly more excited about the event designer than anything else, because if you all ever saw the extent that I would have to go through to design for events, you would know how much of a time saver, a lifesaver, this particular file is. So let's see, let's go to our do I have a 318 red? Yeah. So I have a 318 red grad racing. This was one of our things we did last year. Okay. So this one should already have an event designer in it. But I'm going to paste that 125 file that we just did. Okay. And then instead of 125, I'm going to call it 318. I'll open that one up in Photoshop. And I'm just going to pay attention to that 6th artboard where it had the individual products on it. And I do want to show you something with this, because back when we created 318, we didn't have all the products that we do for 327. So I want to show you what will happen there. I'm going to update all the modified content. Now this should turn into my racing theme, but let's see, because I'm doing it live, so we know that anything can happen live. And what it's doing is it's looking for the 318 socks. It's looking for the 318 wrapping paper, Gatorade bottle. Now get this, we didn't have the wrapping paper in the 318, so it doesn't have that particular design or link to it. Let's see, here's a good example. The clear gift bag still has the 125 style design, because that product did not exist for 318. So this is where I'm telling you, like, once you have the latest Automizer, you can take it and I can make a brand new 125 from my 327. I can make a brand new 318 from my 327. And I just want y'all to know that, because I want you to understand how powerful the tool that you have is. And then every time that I add products to it, it's pretty much its own standalone Automizer at that point, because it is almost impossible for me to go back and redo all of the past Automizers with that design, with the design from that one, but all the Automizer products from the new one. So that's why going forward in the future, we will have a separate purchase for any new Automizer, especially when I put so many products in there. So right now we have about 180, I think 185 products. All right, but like I said, you can see some of the things, like we didn't have Pringles before, so the Pringles has a 125. Now, I just told y'all a secret too, because if you want to mix and match, let's say you want to do the 125 Pringles, but the 318 pillow there, cool. What you can do is you can, in that folder, in that whole PNG folder for that project, you can mix and match the different output files. Now, be careful with that, because I would honestly just tell you to make your own folder and tell it to do, for instance, if this is my whole PNG folder, I guess, look, I'm going to be showing y'all all kind of stuff today. This is not what I wanted to do, but I think this is helpful. Okay. So let me take this 318 red Grad Racing. I'm going to copy, and then I'll paste it. All right, so this is going to call it a copy. But what we're going to do is we can remix 318, 325, and even 327 in there, since they're all red Grad, right? Look, I didn't want to show y'all this today. I didn't want to get y'all in this deep water. But look, by the time I give y'all this file, y'all are going to figure it out anyway. Y'all going to be playing with it. And I just want y'all to be safe when y'all play with it. So when I play with something, I make a duplicate of it. Why? Because I'm a little scaredy pants when it comes to messing up something that I know already works. Okay. So my 318 red Grad vault folder is cool as it is. I'm going to change this one to, and I'm going to put a couple of zeros in the front so it'll stay to the top. So this is going to be 327, 325, no, 125, and 318 all together. All right. Now, what I would need to do here is go to my 327 and say, okay, well, what items do I want to make sure are 327? Well, obviously, I'm going to pick the items that we don't have quite yet in the 317. So maybe I'll go with this one, this cake topper. oh, also make sure that they're files that you plan on using. Like if you're gonna make a gable box, and make it. If you never ever plan on making gable boxes, then don't worry about that. You know what I'm saying? Like make sure that it's things that you plan on making. I do want we're gonna grab the PNG. And because this is for my designer, and I want to be clear about this too, because it's for my designer, I don't really care to have the printable file in that folder, unless when you're creating this, you're going to go ahead and put all of those things in here. Because what happens is when I bring the PNG of the mockup and the printable file in, then it will override, because they have the exact same names, it'll override anything in that combination folder. This is why I don't just bring it into the 318 folder. I created my own combination folder. So I'm going to just pick 3 items, make it simple. Let's do the standee. Let's do the cake topper. And what else did I say was new? Let's do the Pringles with the dome, if I can find it in here. So many products. I think they are in alphabetical order though. So as long as I can do my ABCs in my head without sounding slow, then I'll find it. There it is. It's a Pringle. Now I'm holding down Control and selecting these. There's 1, 2, and 3. If I want to go ahead and get the printable files for these, I can, but I'm not going to focus on that right now because I'm just doing the event designer. So I'm going to copy those 3, going over to my whole PNG folder. And remember, I just created this combo. And then I'm going to paste these 3 files here. Now, what happens to my Photoshop file? I had, let's see, the Pringles there. Let's pay attention to it, and the cake topper. So right now, the Pringles and the cake topper look like 125 because that's the last one we messed with here. But get this, when I right click on any of these linked objects and then I update all modified content, it's going to look for a newer version of that file in that location. And let me make sure that I save this. So 1, 2, 3, we got those. I'm going to close out of this. Oh, I'm still saving. I want to close and reopen it because it got, oh, that was the other 318 designer here. We need to change the name of this one because now this is what is this? This is 327, 125, and 318. So this is a totally different file now. Now open that. Oh, I lied. This was my old. That's what it originally looked like. It was just one little thing, y'all. So I'm actually gonna relabel this one as old because I don't even want y'all to use that one. That's the old one that I gave y'all back with 318. You probably have that one in your file there. So this one is now the 327, the 125, and the 318 event designer. This should be the one with all 6 on there. Okay. And we're going to right click and update all modified content and just see if those 3 items that we selected, and really it would be 2 on this 6 screen. I'm just going to let it update, be the cake topper and the Pringle shaker. All right, let's see. So you see how we got our racing theme going on there for most of the products. And then let's see. We got the 327 version of the Pringles. And we have the 327 version of the cake topper. You see how that worked out? Now, this is cool because technically we've already designed these, and now we're just pulling together different designs, but the same graduate, the same pretty much theme, which is graduation, but we're using the different design templates. So that's one way that I could show you how you can remix some of your products. Like if you don't want everything to have the same background, the same foreground, etc., this is a way to give you a heads up on how to do that. All right, so like I said, if it's individual ones that you want to change out, I put them in this folder. And then what I do is I close out of my designer. I'm going to say yes to save those changes because it did update those products. And let's say if I'm going to do the place card from 125 is there. If I'm going to do the place card from 327, then I replace the place card from the 327. Now, this is going to make a lot more sense when you get your hands on it and you start playing with it. But I just felt like this was a really cool, cohesive way to design for these events that when I tell you, I can't tell you this stuff just takes me hours to design for events. This stuff takes me weeks, not even days sometimes. Weeks trying to figure out, oh, well, do I want an accordion wall? Do I want cubes? Let me design the cubes. Let me put in the treats and the things that we can also brand for the event. That takes a lot of time. So when I saw all the things that was taking me an exorbitant amount of time, I wanted to create shortcuts and tools and just ways for you all to still be completely professional, but cut down the design time and the headache. Okay. All right. So I'm glad that that was helpful too. Okay. So what I can do, I didn't want to do this live either, but let's see if my system will handle this live. I will, because I've already flipped the 125 and I've already flipped the 327 into the new Automizer. Okay. Let me see if there's anything else. I can do that 318, even though I haven't even touched 318 in a little while. That means I may have to get my 318 file together. I may have to. See if there's anything that y'all would rather, because the 318 is popular too, because that's that, oh, the 304 is as well. Oh, so many automizers, so many opportunities. The 304, yeah, I do, and that's why I keep it as that 3-piece in there too. All right, so 304, I tell you what, I think 304, 318, I'm looking to see just what I've already flipped. I'll let y'all vote. I'll show you 304. Then that means I'm gonna have to find my file. But this is cool because I can show y'all how I clean up an entire file, get it ready for the Automizer, because that's what I need to show y'all too. Let me show you. Find my little folder. So then I'll have to change this one to 304 and also 318. All right. So what I've done here is I've made a new master file for 327 and 125 because I realized I wanted to create some vertical text too that goes with the new Automizer. So let me show you what I mean. So this is the new 125 3D. And I don't mind putting this on the 125 3D course so that you have this updated version. But I just want to show you what is updated on and why I have these little pieces. And the more that I design in the Automizer, the more that I design for events and large projects, I started to realize the patterns of what they need. Like, oh, okay, we need some vertical text. We need our 6 lines of horizontal text. Usually I tell you about your 6 lines here, kind of like a magazine cover. You think about that. You have your text 1, 2, and 3, 4, 5, and 6, that sort of thing. It pretty much works out that way every time. If you want to be fancy and put more words and have more lines of text, that's completely up to you. I'm just showing you what I know consistently works, okay? So this is the 125 updated version here from the red Grad. And I just wanted to show you that the vertical text, and matter of fact, I can show you better with red Grad 2. Here it is. Because you know that it creates these magical, so the level that we're at right now is, this is the design template, the design template master. It will create an assets folder for you magically, of course. All right, so this is our assets folder. And the way that we ensure that it creates these assets magically is if we go up to File, Automate, Generator Plugins, and make sure Image Assets is on. When you are designing, turn this off, because you want to get all your junk together first. Then when you turn this on, it will generate each of those PNGs that you need. So see here how I have a lot of vertical text. I have some horizontal text. I went back in here and just added more vertical text and things that I feel like should be placeholders for if you need them. Not necessarily true that you will need them, but if you need them, they're there. Along with our standard photos and our accents and whatever is inside of that template file. Okay, I just wanted y'all to know that it does have some new verticals in there. Same thing with the 127 or 327. So I went back and redid this master file so that it will give you output for vertical and horizontal. All right, and let me show you here. All right, so if you go to where it says 327 all grad text, this is any text you could possibly want to make. Let's say, for instance, you have a welcome sign and you wanted to say the word welcome, and you know you're not using welcome on your main graphic, then you could come here and you can make, I'm going to turn off my front design right now, just so you can see what I'm doing here. So if it's vertical, I have the word vertical after it. But let's say welcome, we'll take the congrats one. You can double click, duplicate that group, and do not call it the same thing because it will have a conflict. So we're going to call this one welcome. Leave that .png on there. Double click on the text here. Type welcome instead. Turn off that congrats layer. And then what will happen, that 327 master red 2 will have its own assets folder. I'll click on that. And eventually we should see that welcome pop up in there. What this is doing is this is helping you to create all the elements that you may need for your larger project. Okay, so I'm just checking here. There's welcome right there. Boom, ready to go. In the same styling and coloring that I needed. This is just important for the way the Automizer works. It needs to have these PNG files. It can't have all these editable things and create your editable designs and create your printable designs and create your mock-ups without having some compromise. So what I like to do is have my text and my elements already prepared. That's what the master file does. And then if there's anything that I'm missing, like a particular word, or maybe I wanted the word senior going vertical. So then what I did was I said, okay, well, I'm going to, within my master file, create the word senior so that it went vertical so I can have that in the future. And of course, it will automatically recolor and everything based on the design of your project. All right. So that is an update to 327. Just letting you know. All right, so I'm gonna close out of this one because you all know how to flip these design files. That will be in the particular class, in the 327 class, the 125 class, etc. But I did want you all to see this is where you get the assets in order to create the elements for the Automizer. So let's see. Between 304 and 318, y'all give me a vote. 318. I'll show you what that one looked like. Jennifer's already voted 304, so y'all better catch up with her. 318 is the racing thing. Okay. And then 304. 304, 304. This is the one I like to call like the energy. So it has like the little circle energy one. Well, I'll tell you what, whichever one I do now should help you to understand how to do it for a future flip too. Because what I'm thinking is I'm going to show you how to flip the Automizer to a whole new number. Okay, so it looks like oh, you did use 318? Oh, awesome. For your pop-up. Let's go. All right. So either way it goes, I think I have more do I have more 304s? I have more 304s than 318s. However, however I do this is going to be precisely the same. So let's do 304 then. So that means I have to find my 304 master. Let me find that. Now I'm doing something I didn't intend. I'm not prepared for it, but look, one of my mentors told me a prepared man is better than a prepared message. So although I did not have that prepared as a class for today, let's see if I'm the prepared man. All right, let's 304. I want to do, let's see. Probably here in my 304 class. Okay, so I got the red grad ready. Let me see. Let me grab these fonts. Boom, boom, boom. Copy those. I have a little fonts folder. All right, so I've just been adding up all the fonts there. And I know what, for this one, I want to do something different because one thing I realized working on this one when I was doing it in the Automizer, having slanted text was not fun. So if I want my text slanted, I'd rather slant it myself or have like a combination of it where it's already prepared, because that was a little aggravating. I'm not gonna lie. And then what I'll do here is, let's go ahead and open back up my 327. And I'll update this 304 as well. So I'm going to take this little all text here. And I'll translate it here above my my 304 PNG. All right, so now y'all get to see me in my prep element. I'm gonna bring this over to the 304. All right, now what I have to do is one thing I would have to do is redo my colors. And honestly, it could just be easy to redo my text. All right, so I'm going to take, for instance, this word congrats here. Boom. And then I'm going to duplicate that group and just call it congrats. Now, the problem with this one is I do have it at an angle. So if I want the congrats with itself without the angle, oh, let me go ahead and turn off. Turn off my image assets right now. All right, so this is me just prepping my file here. I'm gonna do Control T for this congrats because what did I do to get it at this angle? Just retype here. Just retyping the word congrats. All right. Open that up. Let's copy this layer style from the previous one. Paste the layer style on this new one. And then make it a little bit larger like it is here. Bring it down into this area. All right, I got something on that I don't want on. Hold on, y'all. Oh, that was the congrats then. All right, well, that one was simple enough. Let's do Control T, see if this one is angled. I think I did slant that one. Delete that one. And then I'm going to create clipping mask there. Clear that layer style. All right, so each of my texts here, I think I got a little excited about having that slanted text. So whenever I was designing in the Automizer, I would have to go back and make my straight text so that when I'm just, doing a banner or something else that didn't require it or didn't look right for it to be slanted, for instance, the ribbon, when you're doing that ribbon, having that slanted text was an issue. Okay, and then also not having vertical text, I would have to make up vertical text afterwards. So then that's what I was doing for my 327. So I'm going to take this congrats one and bring it all the way up here. And really, I'm just going to take a screenshot of this because I don't need all of the linked layers. I just need to know what text I may want. So for instance, I may want to have the words congrats, congratulations, grad, graduate, senior, 2026. Those were the things that I was constantly using over and over and over again. So those were the things that I would make the individual text of. And you don't have to be so proactive with this because you may find out as you're designing your Automizer that you want a vertical senior. You would just come back to your design file and make one. All right, so let me see here. I'll close these up. Text 3. Oh, I know what I was doing with that. That's where it has like that extra little outline on there. Got it. So I did need to retype that congrats in that last one too. All right, so let's go with text 1. I'm just going to call this one exactly what it is. I'm not going to name it for text 1. I'm going to name it first name because I'm going to keep that as first name. Hit OK. And really just want to didn't put a style. I think I did end up angling this thing, which now I don't like that I angled it that way. So what I'm going to do is just retype this information so I have it straight up. Text size is 278. Saturday Bright is the font. All right, and then I'm going to pull this out for a moment just so I can make sure that I have the right size and everything. 278.38. And I do like feel my system working extremely slow with this. So I don't know that I'm going to do this live. Create clip and mask. Oops, you know what I forgot to do before I deleted it. I need to copy that layer style. Paste the layer style. All right, so now I have my straight across first name. And then once I have my straight across first name, I can duplicate that one. I'll name this one Graduate. Double click on the T. Duplicate it again. Maybe I do congrats. Oh no, grad. That's usually what I do. Grad. All right. And then make sure that because I duplicated it, I should have changed the name there. It will not let you have more than one .png with the same exact name. And then for the one that was congrats, I'm going to take all of this text here and just pull it up here. And this is just all the text that I may want to export. And then this congrats, remember I messed up with that one. I didn't create my background version of it. So I'm going to redo this one. And I'm going to retype this text here. Turn it on. All right, and then I'll make sure that I copy this layer style here from the previous congrats. Paste the layer style, and I'll give you all this file so that you all are not having to rework this. Paste that layer style. And this one, this size should be 385.6. Let's delete that layer. Well, let's just go ahead. Take all of these and create a clip and mask here. And I just had to be now when I go back and I access my template files, I'm like, did I really have to do all of that extra? Apparently I did. So I created an outline layer that basically looks metallic where the inside can look flat. But that's all right. Because now I realize I be doing the most, y'all. I've been telling y'all to keep it simple, and I be doing the absolute most. All right, so this one is the one I want to copy the layer style. And I'm paste it on this one. And then I want to link this congrats and this congrats, because if I do not link it, I want to take it off of auto select, definitely. Then it won't have that little metallic outline that I just fought so hard to give y'all. All right, let's save that. Make sure now my congrats looks good. So I can turn off everything else just to make sure. So that was how I got that metallic little outline. And then let me show you how you might want to do your vertical. Going back to our little snipping tool. So the vertical, I did the word senior vertical, grad vertical. Usually I do 2026 vertical as well. So those are kind of like my go-to verticals. So let me show you how to make a vertical. And I'm going to do it with the congrats because the scripted text doesn't look good when you do it vertical. It looks odd. So let's duplicate this one. And now I'll call this one congrats vertical. Boom. And then for this one, I am going to do the vertical type tool and just type the word congrats. Copy this layer style here, paste it on here. Paste layer style, delete that one. All right, and for this one, let's go ahead and change. I'm going to decrease the spacing between. There we go. That looks good there. And this font is just really super skinny and tall there. So let's correct that. And the white back on. Well, I'll leave the white off until I get this part done. Take all of these, clip to that text. Then we'll alt click and drag this one into here. Copy this layer style. Paste it here. I'm just bringing my smart color up so I can fill out that whole thing. All right. And now that I have a congrats vertical, I'm gonna bring this up. I can duplicate that group. And this time I'll call this my senior vertical. And now all I have to do is just go in and change the word senior. So I've already formatted it, change the word senior there. And there we go. So I have the senior vertical. Let me go back to my little shortcut list. Senior, congrats, grad. I don't think I have grad, and I don't have 2026. So I'll just duplicate the group. This one I'll do grad, vertical. Okay, now I have a grad vertical and then a 2026 vertical. And this is just prep work that I'm doing because I know that these are the common things that I'm going to need every single time I create these. So this may not be something that you do each time, but this is how I prep it so that I can make whatever I need to make. I have all of my text here. So remember, we still have the grad, the class of 2026, and that 3D text there. So remember the grad, class of 2026. Let's say you want to do one that just says 2026. Then you can right click on that, new smart object via copy. Just make sure that you change this name. And I'm just going to put 2026 vertical, but this is my 3D version. Then when I go into it, I take the word class of off of it because I was finding that on the jeans, maybe I was going to put a different class of versus 2026. And now I have a 2026 that is different from the class of 2026. I just wanted y'all to see that. And I think this one, this whole font, I don't want to have to go back and do this because I had to go back and do this with the 125. But apparently the Montserrat font, it keeps defaulting to thin. And I think it's supposed to be black italic. And do then I also ended up having to change the spacing there when I did this. I don't want to do this on this file. Save changes. We'll go ahead and save that one. But I literally had to do that for every single place that I had used this Montserrat font. And that's because when we initially used it, it was like shared between Google and Adobe. And then when Adobe decided they no longer wanted to be nice with Google and downloaded fonts, they wanted you to use their own fonts. Every time we had Montserrat used, it would default it to thin. And I don't know any overarching way to change that other than to change it each time. But this one was black italic. Sometimes I use black if it's straight up and down, but these just happen to be italic. So I was having to change that. So let's see. Negative 400 was the, what is that there? The tracking. Okay. And then I'm just going to delete this other stuff. So make that a little bit smaller. I'll clean this up real quick. So that was that one, grad text. You can see the same issue here. See how it's got these exclamation points? So instead of thin, I'm going to turn it to black italic, make this negative 400. Control S to save. And then let me make sure that this was, yeah, it's hanging off the bottom. I want it to be not hanging off the bottom. All right. So this is another thing that I cleaned up in the 125 file. So you all wouldn't have to deal with that anymore. Black italic, negative 400. So this is fun stuff. And then even the class of one now says thin. All right, so I hate that y'all have to see me clean this stuff up, but those are sometimes things that happen with the programs, with the softwares, compatibility of fonts, all that stuff. But at least you see now how I have to go in and fix it. This is how you could fix it as well if you ended up in this position. All right, so those look good. And again, like let's say you wanted to make this 2026 without the class of in front of it, right click, do a new smart object via copy. Take off this class of, save it, close it. And that way you can now call this your 3D 2026. The last one I need to do is this one, just to update it for y'all. And I'm just updating the text to black italic. And this one I didn't have to really move at all. That's good. All right. I'm going to change this to first name and last name, PNG. Get rid of my other first name, PNG, because we can't have it two with the .png with the same. name. I would have to call one maybe like gray and maybe call one white if I was doing white. All right, so that's that. And then I'm just going to check on, I got the word congratulations, graduate. So typically what I do is have the first word be like congratulations, second word graduate. So if I wanted to do that, I could do that here. Just tell it to duplicate those layers. And tell this one to be congratulations. Let's fit that in our space here. And then this one would say graduate. All right, so basically what I'm showing you is when I go in and I format a template one time, the reason why I do it like this is because I know that whether I'm doing green grad, whether I'm doing the elementary grad, whether I'm doing the college grad, I'm going to need these particular words over and over and over again. So I like to build it as the base of my template so that I will always have my congratulations graduate. I will always have my congrats grad, etc. So these may be, I'm going to pull these text pieces up here. Okay, so I have a congrats, I have a grad horizontal, I have a grad vertical. If I want to redo this one, then I can do congrats and grad here as well. Duplicate those. Now, because I already have one called congrats, I would have to name it something slightly different. Same thing here. If I already have a grad, I'm going to name it grad. Then I have to make sure that I change that name slightly. Otherwise, it will not save the PNG version of it, or it'll give me an error. All right, so that's what I do to kind of prep all of my different texts that I may need going forward. Like I said, if you want to do the word welcome, that might be a good one to do too. I'll change this one to welcome. All right. Now, when I'm done making all of my text, when I'm done laying out all of my design, I'll turn my design back on here. And let's say I'm going to update my photo 1 and photo 2 because I do have what I did was I updated my photo 1 and photo 2 to be more realistic, which is what we learned in one of our classes. We updated our AI models. And I'm just going to clean this file up a little bit. Just delete everything I don't need other than that photo 1 and photo 2. Photo 3, I have a different version of that one too. All right, and just keep in mind too that any of this, where it says all text export, I can turn all of these off and it will still generate the PNG version of these things, whether you have the eyeball on or not at this level. So I'm gonna turn them off just so I can see what I'm working with. And that way for my full design here, if I still want to have this slanted text for my 13 by 19 design or my foreground design, my slanted text is what it is, but then I have my flat text above that I can use inside of my Automizer. So this was me prepping any design file. It doesn't even have to be one of my templates. It could be something that you designed. It could be a template that you have from somewhere else. It could be a Canva template even that you have. As long as you're prepping the file and getting it ready for the Automizer, this is the principles. We want to make sure that all of your text is ready, all of your photos and your accents are ready to go. And then once we have that, we can go ahead and turn on our image assets. And then now I'm going to check my folder and see if it is making those image assets for me. It should be making them right here inside my 304 master red grad assets. Let's look for those large icons and see now how it has all this extra stuff, the congrats, the congratulations, the grad, the welcome, first name, grad, etc. And then these are going to be a little bit different. Now, I do want to warn you, if you are going to be doing a lot of DTF, what I did was I went back into my template and I saw where I had a lot of drop shadows. Of course, these look superb in Photoshop. And of course, they look great with sublimation. However, if you're planning on doing a lot of DTF, you want to take off any of that kind of drop shadow styling. And let me give you an example here. We'll go back to our text here. For instance, our welcome, and I'm going to turn off the graphics for it, so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. So we have this beautiful soft drop shadow that doesn't cut it for DTF. Those of you who do DTF, or even if you're cutting vinyl, you know that that does not cut it. So I'll go back to my welcome here. And I'm going to double click where it says drop shadow. All right, and I'm going to create a duplicate drop shadow. Just taking a little second. There it goes. All right, so the drop shadow that's showing right now, I'm going to make a hard version of it that can be printed for DTF. So let me increase my spread. And I'm going to decrease the size a little bit. All right, you see it has that drop shadow on it, but it's just opaque. It really should be the full opacity, not 84%. So it's completely opaque. And then in Photoshop, they still have not fixed this issue. It will not have complete kind of clean roundness. So you'll have to do your part to make it look as good as visually possible. You see how that's still kind of fuzzy there? So you'll have to clean it up and make it to where I usually do the spread all the way at 100% and then just dial down or up the size. But once you get it like that, it still has that other drop shadow in there. It's just turned off. So then you would take that, copy that layer style, and paste it anywhere that you had that type of graphic there. I'll paste it here, see if it still looks good, because this is a different, nope, this is a different type of styling. So let me do, and I should have showed y'all this before because this is something that I did in the update of the 327 template, so that'll make it a little bit easier for you all to do the DTF. And I'm just doing all of the text that has that script, since I can just paste the layer style there. All right, and then for this one, I'm just going to, thought I already, yeah, I have a congrats here. Yep, so I already have a congrats. Now what I'm doing is I'm turning on the ones that have that gray. See, I have that soft shadow there. I need to fix that if I'm going to be exporting these elements for DTF. So again, I'll double click on the effects, duplicate my drop shadow. I'll keep the slot for the drop shadow. I'm just going to turn off the soft drop shadow. Crank my opacity all the way up to 100. Spread this all the way up and just bring the size and the distance down. And then I can copy that layer style. And just paste it anywhere that I see the similar text. Now, once you do this and you're just duplicating the grad that already has the clean DTF drop shadow, then you're no longer having to do what I'm doing right now. All right, I can make it through this. And let me see what has a drop shadow here. There it is. Spread all the way up, opacity all the way up, distance down, size down. All right, then for all that vertical text, I would do that as well, or just duplicate it and redo it. And paste layer style there. Okay, so now all of those should be DTF friendly. And at least this gives me an opportunity to show you, even when you're designing your Photoshop style files, if you want them to be compatible to DTF print, then these are some considerations you have to make. All right. Ooh, I'm tired, y'all. I'm not gonna quit though. Let me save. This is me prepping the file that I didn't intend to prep today, but it's okay. You see a football player in the background by the 2026? Here, let me turn on everything and see. It might be. Let me turn back on our main design now. All right, I know there's a logo there. All right. So now everything looks good. I think we're ready to get our export on. Let's see. Our assets are looking good. I'm just checking to make sure that they make sense. They don't have a fuzzy drop shadow. Okay, all my words are there. I got my verticals. Now let's see what this error text is. So this error text is telling us that there is a duplicate path for grad vertical and for graduate. So let's make sure. Grad vertical, yes, there is. And this one is not even grad vertical. This one is 2026 vertical. See how it gives us those errors? And then the other one was, see now the other error went away. Now I just have a duplicate path for graduate PNG. So let's check that out. And I do have 2 graduates, so I'm going to name this one -2. Make sure I save my work. And you see how it's redoing the images automatically anytime I save or make any changes. All right. So now I'm getting into my next step, which is to actually edit the Automizer. So I'm going to close out of this one. I don't even know if I made any changes. I'm going to hit no, just in case. All right, so I just turned off my alt text and I'm ready to start formatting my Automizer. So when you receive your Automizer file, you receive like an Automizer zip file, and then you'll receive an action. I'm not going to show you how to install the action, all that, because all of that is in the tutorial videos. What I'm going to do is actually demonstrate how it works. If I can focus and find my file. And there it is. Mm-mm-mm. All right, so I will take this one from the 125. And let me rename this. Mm-mm-mm. All right, so before I unzip it, I'm going to change the name of the file just to make this a little simpler because I have so many versions of this file on my computer. I don't want to get confused. So we're now going to do this as the 304. And I'll put today's date. Zero 05/24. Now, typically I put the zip file in the Automizer all folder. And then I do eventually, you'll see that I don't have a lot of files here. What I do is I move them into an old drive. Excuse me, once I'm done working with them. All right, now, I don't know if you have to extract your files. If you have a Mac or PC, I know for PC, I believe we do. So I'm going to right click and extract all. That's going to ask me where I want to save it, and it's going to save it inside of a folder called Automizer 304. So I'm going to extract there. Now I said this is a very heavy file, especially being that now we have even more products in it. So you may want to give it some time to be able to extract. And even when you're processing your files and you're running your Automizer where it's creating the PNGs, just give it a little time because it is a lot that it's working on. So what I'm doing right now is just extracting, getting this file prepared. If you all need a moment to go grab a snack, stretch, something to that effect, I'm giving you 5 minutes right now. So 4 o'clock, it won't take that long for this thing to finish extracting, but while it's extracting, I'm going to give y'all a little break. Go get you something to drink at the very least. Use the bathroom if you need to, and be back at 4 o'clock, okay? And then this is going to go pretty fast because now that I've prepped my file, I'm pretty much just doing a flip of the Automizer at this point in time.
sky with a whisper loud. A brushstroke cuts through every cloud. My thoughts run wild, no change, no bounds. Electric colors in a concrete town. I'm the architect of my own spark, a firework igniting in the dark. Creativity is my superpower. Turning dust to gold in the final hour. I build a world with a single thought. No cage, just dreams. It's all I've got. I bend the rules like a melody bends. Snap a rhyme, make the broken man. A kaleidoscope spinning in my chest. This canvas bleeds, but it's my best. Ideas collide, a thunderous roar. They crack the ground and break the floor. Creativity is my superpower. Turning dust to gold in the final hour. I build a world with a single thought. No cage, just dreams. It's all I've got.
Keep doing things that you love. Innate Academy is always here to support you.
All right, my loves, let's make sure that y'all can hear me talking before I start yapping again. I want you to see that I did extract the file. It's in my Automizer all 304. Now it's still going to say that it's 125. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the file name here so that it says 304. And then I'm going to put today's date on it. All right, so that way when I go to open it, it doesn't confuse me and say 125 on there, okay? Now, this is me getting into the Automizer demo. Like, this is probably going to go a lot faster than anything else that I've done so far because I was doing the prep work, okay? What you want to do is make sure that you right-click you can right click on anything, but inside of this urgent folder, I'm going to right click and I'm going to go to update all modified content. And just a moment, because what I want to do is I like to make sure that I don't have any extracted version of it that it can get confused with. I only have my zip versions and then the one that I'm actively working on. So I just want to make sure I did that first. And as a matter of fact, I'm gonna close out of this one, say no to the changes. I'll keep this one open just for a little bit, because while I'm filling out my Automizer, I may need to create some text or a piece of graphic or something that I want to fill out in the Automizer. So I'll keep it open just in case. I'm going to make sure that I go to my 304 that I renamed here. Anyone, now the reason why I'm adding Coach Nancy, Joe, is because she's actually supposed to be in the Zoom room helping people. But here's the deal. I am still, while I'm doing this demo of the Automizer, if you have not already purchased your 327 Automizer, let me see if I can find the link real quick so that you all can get into the Zoom room if you want to. Hold on just a second, because in order to get into the Zoom room, you have to have the actual 327, you have to have pre-purchased the 327 Automizer. So let me get that link for you real quick. Maybe Customer Happiness has it ready. My computer's going a little slow right now. So I'm talking to the folks on the YouTube side because there are a few people watching there. And let me know if that link doesn't work for y'all, okay? Because I want to go ahead and go straight through this demo right now. Yeah, this one should, oh, the Yep, the price already went up. I'm going to see if Customer Happiness will do the because I did a discounted price for a week. I did a buy-in price like before we even got it going, and some people got that, but I also said I would leave it at $4.97 for a week so that you all could help promote it as well. But let me see here if I can roll it back to $4.97. Yeah, give me just a second. I apologize. You edit that one. It looks like Coach Nancy, you just got added, so make sure you check your back end. All right, so I just rolled the price back. Instead of $8.97, it's now $4.97 for anybody that wants to get in now and also be able to get into the Zoom room. Have the bonus file that I showed you, that event design bonus file. You'll have that as well. I think that event design file by itself, I know is worth at least $900 because all of the things all of the event products that I have in there for you to design, I've looked at everyone else's packages that offer like the accordion wall, the arch, and all those different things. And just those products alone combined are worth $900. So the fact that you get the whole 180 something products that are printable and mock-ups, because that's the other thing people aren't telling y'all. The printables are not the mock-ups. The mock-ups are not the printables. So what you have to do is go into Canva for most of those files, and you have to edit each of the files separately, each of the design files separately, and then you have to save them and put them into your mock-up files. That's what the Automizer saves you time for, and that's what I'm going to demonstrate for you just now. Now, I do have to close out some of these windows because I know this is going to take some resources, so hopefully you all got that link that you could purchase. So that was the pre-purchase price, and that price time is over because it is live now. All right. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead, and I won't be able to see the YouTube comments, y'all, while I'm creating and working, but I'll take a look every now and then just to see if I'm missing anything, okay? All right, all right. So see here. I'm gonna go to my little urgent layer, right click and update all modified content. And then I can turn this off. Now what I'm going to be doing inside of here is actually changing out these elements. And then once I change out these elements, it should miraculously design all the 180 products that are in the Automizer. That's the idea, okay? So because we're going to stick with the red grad, I'm going to keep my smart colors the same. But if you were switching those things, you would change those things. What I'm doing right now is actually making a 304 version of it. So this is me showing you not only how to change out the elements, but how to change out the elements and create a different template design with it. All right, so first thing I like to do is go to my foreground here, and I'm just going to double check. And I'm going to tell this to reveal in the Explorer. The reason why I'm doing that is because I want to ensure that I'm in the right folder. You see how I'm in the 304 links folder? If it takes me anywhere else, then your system might be confused, or maybe you didn't do your update on modified contents at first, that sort of thing. So I just check that before I go further. So I'm going to double click on the foreground here. And then remember, for the design we were just working on, those assets, make this window a little bit smaller here. And I'm just going to look for the foreground here. And that's my foreground design. So I'm going to drag and drop it. I have to delete the layer underneath it because the way the Automizer works at this level, it only lets you have the PNG. So you can't have all these editable files at that point. So I'm going to save that. Okay, that's my foreground. Then the next thing that I do is this is the only time I select auto select primarily is when I'm working in the Automizer. Okay. And y'all hold on just a second. I'm going to go turn the fan on for Granny because she's fanning herself, which means she probably getting a little warm. Hold on, y'all. I'm gonna drag and drop this background, delete the layer underneath, save, Control S, then Control W. Right, and that one's gonna take the most time because it is the largest file of all the Automizer pieces. Y'all give me 2 seconds, I'll be right back. All right, my loves, I'm back. That looks like that background updated there. All right, now the next thing I like to do, usually I do my colors first, then I do my foreground, background. Then what I want to do is replace the text. Now this should be pretty easy because I'm going to be replacing the text with similar things that I already created. So let's go and find those pieces. So I have a congrats, just regular text going across the top. And if I don't see it, so this is that congrats is at an angle. I don't want to use that one. And if I don't see the word congrats, this is why I was saying I'll keep this file open. I do see a congrats right here. So I do have a congrats. It is a congrats with a 2 at the end. Let me make sure I see it. And then I'm going to sort this by, instead of the date modified, the name. That way it'll be in alphabetical order. There it is. That's the congrats I was looking for right there. All right. So I'm just going to replace that text there. And one thing that I want to do, the size and the placement of the text that was there before, to make this easier for me, I want to pretty much stay in that zone. Then I'll delete the one previously. Control S to save. Control W to close out of the window. All right, and I'm back here. Make sure that I'm on my move tool and I'm on auto select. So now I'm just going to be moving through these. If congrats is too close to grad, just click somewhere in this white space or somewhere outside of the space and then try to grab that grad. Otherwise, it'll start trying to turn and rotate and it won't know that you're trying to reach that image underneath it. So now I'm looking for my grad. Boom. And like I said, my goal is to make it about the size and placement of the previous word. Control S, Control W. Control S is to save. Control W is to close out of the window. And then for this one, I'm doing congratulations, the full congratulations all the way out, which is here. I'm just going to pull that in just a little bit so that it fits where my previous text was. And you see how I don't have that that soft drop shadow? I did that on purpose so that I can use any of these elements for the DTF that goes on cups. You can use them for UV DTF versus the heat transfer DTF. So I'm just making all the elements more versatile. All right, first name is here. I'm going to close out some of these windows too. All right, I'm looking for first name, which is right here. All right, and then last name here. And see how these are like different fonts and different stylings, but the concept stays the same. And that's why I want y'all to know, like, you can literally make your own 304 version or 318 version of this newest Automizer by just simply following everything that I'm doing right here and prepping your master file so that it gives you all of the output that you need here. And for the class of 2026, I believe we already have this. I'm going to keep this version of it that has the logo in the center. Oh, no, I'm not, because I want to have the darker text because this one has the white text. I want to show you that there's a difference. All right, there we go. Now, if you like the way that logo was in there, I'll show you a little something. You can just bring that accent over, put it over that 0 there. But what you're going to have to do is merge these. If it's a PNG, you merge. If it's a JPEG that needs to be one layer, what do? Flatten if it's a JPEG. Now we're going to merge it because it's a PNG and we want to keep these transparent pixels. If you hit flatten, it'll make the background white and it will no longer be a PNG. Just wanted y'all to know that difference there. All right. Our photos are the same here. Oh, let me keep going with the text. Text 21. So this is all the text for the front. Oh, I didn't do graduate. Let's do graduate. Graduate is right here. Delete the previous one. Control S to save. Control W to close out of the window. And now I'll move over. See, I didn't do the team. So I can go back to my master file now, and team is going to be in that. Let's do the first name. Nope, I lied. Let's do the congrats. So I'm going to duplicate this. And I'm going to call this team. Go to the word here and type team. Oops. I did not mean to capitalize the E. Here we go. And as soon as I save that, even if I turn the eyeball off, I should see the word team pop up in here. All right, and it took a little minute because it's basically regenerating all of this every time I hit save. All right, so now I can put the word team here. I'm just gonna size this a little bit better there. Here we go, delete the previous one, Control S to save, Control W to close out of the window. All right, so I have my word team that I didn't have before. That's what I say, you can try to think of all the words that you're gonna need, but you can still go back to the master file and add a word, add an image, something that you want to keep in the master file so that you can recreate later. Last name here. All right, and I just left the space there for custom text. This class of. Oh, we didn't make the class of. So now I can go back here, duplicate the one that says team, and call that one class of. And just create that class of text. Go ahead and save, and as I save, it's going to pop up here eventually. There it is, right there at the end. Now, I'm keeping consistent with the words. Of course, if you're doing this, let's say as a wedding or birthday or something else, you're not going to use these exact words. But the idea is that it gives you some reference of what you can be put in there to keep this consistent for many, many, many designs to come. All right, and then let's remember that our new 2026s are different colorway. There we go. Just want to make sure that that fits in. Similar space there. delete, Control S, Control W. I got the stacked version. Now I have the stacked version of the 2026, but I think I have the class of on top of it. So if I want to put 2026 just by itself, then I will have to go into my file here, go to my stacked 2026. I will have to do a new smart object via copy. This will be 3D20 dash. I put 20-26 to let it know that it's stacked. Go into it. Turn off my class of. Control S, Control W to save and close the window. Save and close the window. And now I have a 3D 2026. Refresh my folder here. Make sure that I hit save. And there's my stacked 2026. Yeah, let's see how we're looking so far. And let's see if my accents are any different. Accent 1 is the same. Accent 2 is pretty much the same. Accent 3. Oh, I didn't have an accent 3 and 4 for this design, but so I'm going to keep my scroll here. I'm going to keep my 3 and 4 from this design. All right. So now I'm going to this back 26 here. And I may not have created a 26, so let's create one right now. Let's duplicate, well, not duplicate, we're going to need to do a new smart object via copy. And then we're just going to call this one the 3D 26. Double click. Double click. And then instead of 2026, we're just going to do 26. Save and close. Save and close. And now I have me a 26 ready to go. Just refresh. There's my 26 ready to go. Make that one a little bit larger. All right, and now this is what's the design part of the Automizer that's new. I just added a space saver for vertical text so that you don't have to always turn your text sideways. You can have some vertical text kind of ready to go. So we have the word senior. I'll replace with this senior. All right, we have the word grad. And I have my grad vertical here. Now keep in mind, this was the previous one was the 3D text. And then this one is just the regular text that's inside of the template. They're interchangeable. These are just placeholders. That's all I want y'all to think of these as placeholders for your ideas. And then what it does is take the idea that you already had and it just organizes it and makes it a little bit simpler to design all those 185 products. All right, so 2026. See if I have a vertical, 2026. Boom, right there. And then for this vertical first name and last name, I just created a space where you can take your regular first name and last name and just rotate it. So that's your first name. Just rotate it 90 degrees. I just hold down shift while I'm doing that. Put it in place here. Delete the previous layer. Then I'm just going to Control S to save. Control W, close out of the window. Same thing with the last name. I'm going to turn it sideways. Increase the size here. And I'm just going to lock it in to where it's right in the middle. All right, we'll delete the previous layer. Control S to save, Control W, close out of that window. All right, QR codes are already in there, and QR codes are awesome to use for the graduates, especially if you design like a grad page where they're going to land and be able to, see all the products they can buy to support the grad. Or also it may just be like the QR code to their Cash App. All right. Okay. So we're going to keep all these elements the same here. Then I'll go to the back design here. And you might think that we didn't design a back, but it's not too late. Let's go ahead, and that's where I had the word team. Bring that in there. I'm just going to replace that element. Then let's put the last name. And this isn't always how you're going to have the back design, but they didn't ask for back design, so I'm giving them something to reference here. And basically, I'm building this design, but of course, I can't leave this as is. So I'm going to have to merge it to make it a single design. And this one, delete that. See what we're going to put on here for the bottom part of the design. I'm going to put our number. So our number 26. All right, now I can't save this as is because a PNG requires it all to be one layer. So I'm going to select the top layer, hold down Shift, select the bottom layer, and merge those layers. Or you could have just did merge visible as well. It would have merged all the layers. Control S to save, Control W to close out of the window. Just making sure everything else is good. Now for this middle ground here, we use it for our all over-ish. I'll show you a trick here as well. Just take your background image or like your pattern or whatever you may want there. Right click and create a clipping mask so it clips down into that area. I'm going to move it to where it makes a little bit more sense to see some of those things with the circle. Beautiful. And again, you can merge the layers. Control S to save, Control W to close out of the window. Now we have that updated middle ground. Now, once you're done changing out all of your elements here, the way that I like to test it is to go through and make sure that my 13 by 19 design makes sense here. And as a matter of fact, we could even change, let's go by the 13 by 19 mock-up here and see if it changes this one. All right, so 13 by 19 mock-up here. This is still that 125 design. I'm going to double click on it again. And see how it has these little caution symbols. I'm going to update all modified content. And now it should be the 304 stuff. Makes sense. Control S, Control W to save and close out of the window. Save and close out of the window. You see how this 13 by 19 design changed down here? That's how we know we're on point. Now let's go for the back design. Update all modified content. Boom, that's our new design there. Looks good. Control S to save. Control W, close out of the window. Control S to save. Control W to close out of the window. And then I can test out my all over design, make sure it makes sense before I go forward. Update all modified content. Now see, it's repetition at this point. All right, that looks good for me. I can turn on my little guidelines just to make sure that everything's in the right place. Beautiful. Control S, Control W for my front all over. All right, that's cool. Control S, Control W. And these are kind of like my test products because the t-shirts is so popular that as long as the t-shirts redesigns, I'm pretty sure that everything else is going to design just like it's supposed to. I can turn on my guide layers here just to make sure that everything is in place. Looks like it. So Control S, Control W. And remember, I started with 125. Now I'm making a 304 version, right? It's even easier if you were doing 125 to another 125 because everything will be exactly the same, just a different color or different text depending on what you decided to save for that particular project. All right, I still got my DTF ones here I'm going to test out. All right, now let's go ahead and update our modified content here. Beautiful. And see how my DTF layer mask looks different than my sublimation layer mask because a sublimation layer mask is feathered and soft. The DTF layer mask is more vector and hard, like those hard lines. All right, Control S, Control W, and I'm going to do the back. Update all modified content. There we go. Control S, Control W. There we are. All right, now one thing I want to do before I go further is I actually need to save my Automizer file. So Control S to save, Command S if you are on the Mac. And it looks like I did all of my little elements here look good. If I needed to change the grad facts to be birthday facts or Jesus facts or anything else, I do have that editable one here. So say you were doing Easter and you want to do Jesus facts, or maybe you're doing a birthday or memorial. Then you can save this as a PNG. You can just export that, quick export that as a PNG. I'm just going to put it in my downloads right now just so I know where that is. I'll close it out. And then this is the one that I would need to change out because these things on the gray squares are the elements that my Automizer uses in order to design from. So then I would go into this image, find the PNG that I just created, drag and drop it on top, delete the one underneath, Control S, Control W. Okay. All right, so that is it. I'm going to save my Automizer. Okay, because the next part is going to be the part that takes a little bit of time. But I want to show you all before I do that. I'm going to save this one. This is my master or my vault. I'm going to create a new package. Okay, now let me show you all what I'm going to put in my new package. All right. Now, first, I'll open up what my new products are just so I can show y'all what's new inside of the Automizer. We have the baby onesie, the corset, the denim jacket, the denim jeans. We have the pleated tennis skirt, baby bib, baby onesie hat, wrapping paper, a place card, name tag for the table, the envelope, the standard envelope that has the triangle top. We have a crown that's in there where you can make your own birthday paper crowns. A treat card is in there, the 11 by 14 treat card, which you can just resize to whatever size you want to print. The cake toppers on here. The gable box, but this gable box also has that 3D layered effect to it as well. So I'll just show you real quick. You can turn off those 3D layers if you want and just go with the printed sticker version of it. Okay. And I'm not going to save that. I don't want to save any changes there. You have the tissue paper. If y'all want to make this tissue paper, it's on y'all. I made some. It wasn't that fun. I don't think I would do that unless I had basically, if I could put it into my large format printer and print the paper, which I believe I can, I will. But I have a latex printer and it really doesn't like that little thin paper. It heats it up and curls it up. So that's something that if I didn't have the printer or somebody to print that for me, I may not offer that tissue paper product. But it's in there if y'all want to. It does make a cool bag, I will tell you that. You got a clear gift bag y'all begged me to make. It's in there. It has the outside clear part if you're going to layer that versus the inside part. Okay, and I even made it to where you can do those separately. So I have the clear by itself, the insert by itself, and then I have the insert with the external parts that you can make kind of 3D. All right, so that's on there. The all over gift bag template, and this one has the fold lines and everything in the printable file. They're very, very light, so hopefully you don't have to try to do this from scratch. But as you can see, as I'm opening these, you can see they still have the 125s in here. I'm gonna leave them alone because what's gonna happen is the Automizer is gonna update all of my elements. And let's see. I'll wait. I don't want to edit anything just yet, but I'll let y'all see the magic where it automatically updates from the 125 to the 304. You have this envelope here. This one's pretty easy to create. I created this one with some really nice cardstock and it looked very professional, very nice. You also have an insert in there if you wanted to use it. Y'all have this Chanel inspired Hershey bar purse that I created a template for you all for that one. And you can include graphics or not on this one. Let's say, for instance, you don't want to use the background design at all. You want to keep it with that quilted look, or you want to take off the quilted look and use a flat color. That you have all those options. And that automatically mocks it up for you. You have a party hat that's in there now. Y'all asked me about this party cone hat. That's finally in there. The regular Pringles, that Pringles wasn't in there before, so it's in there now. And these are things that I made samples of. So I did the regular Pringles, and then I did the Pringles with the dome. Okay, and all of that automatically populates the design for you. There's the cake top, the treat bag topper here. Like I said, I put a lot of products in this new Automizer. The Gatorade bottle there. And you can actually, oh no, I don't want to close that one. Let me save my little changes. That just scared me for a second. All right, so we have the clear cup, the frosted cup. We have a cutout with the wooden stick for the big heads. I have the big heads without the wooden stick. We have this vertical door banners here, and those should automatically propagate to the 304 design as well. Wind spinner, okay, with the wind chime on it, which we have the wind spinner already, but now the wind spinner with the wind chime. I felt like that'd be a popular one for keepsakes as well, especially for memorial. The doormat is in here now. All right, you can take your whatever you already designed for a t-shirt, go ahead and automatically make that doormat. The chapstick holder here. These rosary bead necklaces, which these are pretty new, but I see these on the rise. I haven't seen them popularized yet, but I think they're on the rise. And I think you all would be great to get ahead of this, especially once we get into our memorial session. The charms here, and you can just cut off one and just do one charm. If you wanted to cut that off on the mock-up. All right, you have an apron here, a cutting board, the waffle kitchen towel, and the pot holder and oven mitts. All those can make a nice little set there. That's in the Automizer now. You have your standee, which this actually takes any shape that you put here and makes it look like it has a stand on the back of it. You have your velvet rope that is customizable. Whatever you put on here is going to be printable, and you can custom make your own ropes now. We'll have a class where we go over that too. Mouse pad gaming desks. Desk pads, those are going insane right now. More than regular mouse pads, those gaming pads are selling because they take up more space on the desk, and people use them for trading cards as well as to use as a mouse pad and a keyboard pad. Okay, but you do have the traditional mouse pad there, and you also have the mouse pad with the wrist rest, which is what I like to use. But apparently my generation likes to have wrist support, but the younger generation just turn it upside down and use the flat side. All right, so that's all of the stuff that's new in there. All right, now those are just the new items. Okay, there are 180 something products all throughout here. Let me just be clear. Okay, so I'm gonna say what I'm working on right now. Save this completely because this is your vault. Once you get all this together, this is your vault. Save it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a save as version. And instead of my vault, I'm going to put this, let's say this is my customer package. So I'm going to do customer. This is my customer pack. All right, now what am I going to offer in my customer pack? I will not dare show them 180 something products. They think it was too easy for me to design it, and then maybe they even don't want to pay me my design fee. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to, inside of new package, I'm going to find what products I want to put in there. So for graduation, since y'all had me make this stuff, let's see which of these products. I might do the cake topper there. I might do this gift bag here. Maybe since I spent so much energy, I'll do the Pringles can. That mock-up there took me a lot to make, y'all. I'm not even gonna hold you. The door panels here, maybe I'll do that one. And you can do all of the things that you want. I'm just choosing a few things. I'll choose the standee because I think that'll be popular. And then I could even go in here and choose some of my older stuff. So from the apparel, you see some of this stuff is repeated here, but for the apparel, let me do my DTF shirt. And if I'm doing the front, I want to go ahead and include the back too. Maybe my all over sublimation shirt. And technically those are already right here. If there were any accessories, let's say I go ahead and do my socks. And I'm holding down control as I'm selecting these. And for the treats, let's say I go with my standard chip bags, water bottle. And maybe I go with the clear cups. And I can go with some cupcakes. Now here, the fans are popular, so I might throw that fan in there. Maybe a pillow. Right, and I could just go throughout these and see if there's anything that I'm missing that I want to add here. I got the graduation stole and the graduation topper there for the cap. My clack fan. You might want to do a candle or something. I'm not going to do any bags for this one, but you could. Now, the idea is that if you're building this package for your client, then this is going to automatically design all of these pieces for you. We can go with the tumbler. Oops, I think I just deselected all of my stuff. I did. When I clicked on this folder, I forgot that I wasn't holding control anymore. So I have to reselect my stuff. All right, that's all right. Let me just go ahead and quickly reselect some stuff. Go back. Fan. I'm holding down control while I'm selecting the gray area, y'all. I was getting too carried away. I forgot about the money holder, but I never really like making those anyway, but they are there. pillow. Let's do the fan. Oh, I forgot the button. I'm glad I did come back because that button sells really well. If you're doing a lot of seated events, you may want to do your bar menu, dinner menu, that sort of thing. So I was going to do cupcakes, water bottle, chip bag, clear cup, Pringles. I'll do the gift bag, cake topper, socks. My shirts are already on there, so I'm gonna leave those alone. I'll do my cutout, door banner, maybe one of these big head cutouts here. All right, so as I have these selected carefully, because I have not deselected them by mistake yet. All right, see how they're still gray? I'm gonna hold down Alt and I'm gonna click and drag. See how it's making a copy of them? Just of the ones that I have selected. And I'm gonna put that, drop that into my new package. New package, okay? Now, because this is my customer pack, I am now going to delete everything where it says all product mockups. I'm going to delete that whole artboard. And it's scary. It's super scary, y'all, but it's okay. I leave my elements here and I have my new package here. That's all I need. Now I'm going to go File, Save, or Control S to save just this little customer pack, right? Because if this customer only wanted a t-shirt, they got a good 20, 50, like 10 to 20 products here that they can buy from me, okay? Hold on just a second, y'all. I think Granny coughing. I need to go see about it. Hold on just a second. All right, y'all. I'm back. Uncle Greg went to go check on her. All right, let me see. Y'all see my screen share. Jennifer, oh, you made some Pringle cans with it? Yay! All right, and y'all let me know too if you're making things, and let's just say the measurements might be a little off, or because I noticed that where I put my QR code, I was kind of putting it over a little too much to the edge. So then that way, when I was wrapping like my water bottles and my Pringles, I was a little too close to that overlap. So things like that, if y'all notice them, let me know because I can update the Automizer to basically correct those things. Okay, y'all make this stuff way more than me. My goal is to make the tools for y'all. This is where I thrive, and this helps me help y'all thrive. Okay. Oh, they were perfect. Awesome. All right. So here's the magic. This is the 304 temporary one that we created. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and make this little small pack. Now, what I'm going to do on the back end on my own time is make a full version of the 304 with all 180 something products. I will not do that on live because that takes too much computing energy, especially while I'm on this live. It's not going to be pretty. So I'm going to do this with I'll say a smaller package, but it's still very significant. Let's see this work. Let's go File. And talking about my internet connection's unstable. See how I'm telling y'all? Hold on a second, y'all. I'm going to do something, see if I can boost my internet connection on this device. Y'all, if it's a trick and I know it, y'all know I will share it with you. So if you have Xfinity, you can put the app on your phone. You can pause devices. Let's say your kids' iPads is sucking up all the internet and stuff. You can pause devices. But there's also something where you can boost the internet to just one device. And it just gives it priority. So I'm going to do that right now. And you can do it for up to 8 hours. Go to my Wi-Fi, boost device Wi-Fi connection. I will choose oh, you know what? Mine is connected via the Firewire or this thing here. What is that called? Ethernet. So it's not even on here. So it's getting the most that it possibly can get. It's just pitiful, y'all. Like I said, I feel for those in these rural areas or these areas where they are not. Sometimes it's not rural areas. Sometimes it is heavily populated areas that they just don't want to give resources to, like urban, quote unquote, urban areas. So yeah, trust and believe. I feel you now when we are looking at these resources of internet speeds and how it affects your productivity. All right. So now I'm going to go to File and I'm going to package this thing. And it's going to kind of research right now, say, okay, let me make sure that you have all your little elements in order to package whatever you have on here right now. So I'm giving that a moment. And like I said, I will package the full 180. Let me get the exact number. It's an 80 something. I want to say 185, 184. I'll do the math in just a little bit. Matter of fact, while this is packaging, let's do the math. Let's go to the whole PNG folder. Oh, it's ready for me to package my destination. Okay, so I'm going to put it in my Automizer all. I'm going to make a folder for it. And this is going to be my 304 Red Grad customer pack. So this is not my full vault version of it. This is that customer pack. Okay, I'm going to save everything inside of this. So instead of me doing all 184 products, which includes caskets and grave wraps and things that I will not be showing to my customer, it makes no sense to do all of those products unless I'm just making a version of the Automizer. For instance, I'm making a 304 version of this latest Automizer. So anyone who purchases 327, now you get the 327, the 125, and the 304 already flipped for you. Other than that, you can flip it to whatever you want. And I hope that this processes demo today showed you that you can flip it to whichever template you want. And that the most common thing that you're going to need is your foreground and your background and your color palette already selected, and everything else you can build as you go and replace those elements. All right, it's almost done packaging there. So while it's doing that, I said I was going to go and count up. Maybe I didn't need to just let it be. Because right now it's using up all my little internet resources. And then the other thing that slows this thing down too, if you have your files on a drive, if you're using OneDrive, turn it off, delete it off your computer. Unless you just truly use OneDrive for other things, do not let OneDrive access where you're putting these files because it will slow you down dramatically. It will never have enough space to back up your work. It's just not worth it. So I literally have deleted OneDrive off of my system. I uninstalled it. And then I also made it to where, first I made it to where it didn't start up on my system, uninstalled it, and then I think I even had to delete the source folder for it because it's sneaky and it'll still try to access your, try to act like it's backing up your files. I know. Okay, so now let's see if it's ready for us. The customer pack, let's open it up. It's got its own little folder there. So now I'm going to show you the difference between the one that we just made up. All right. Looks like, well, that looks like the same thing. It does, except look at the actual products now. That looks like the 304 stuff, doesn't it? And if you needed to go in and tweak anything, let's say congrats wasn't big enough and you wanted congrats to be larger, you can go into congrats. You can scale that up a little bit if you wanted to. All right. And then when you go to save it, Control S, Control W, now it updates onto this mockup. Did y'all see that? Did y'all see how this is going to bless your life, your design life? Okay. The socks are now with the 304 design. Okay. Now I go into each of these because before I turn them into PNGs, I would just want to make sure everything works. Okay. Now this one has the 304 elements. You see the little circle design in the background. If I need to shift anything, change it. Maybe I need to take my background, take off auto select, take my background right there. And maybe I need to move it down a little bit so I see more of that cityscape, right? Not the Automizer does the automatic propagation of all these elements, but you are the designer with the design eye, and you'll have to edit things to where it makes a little more sense for you. So maybe it makes a little more sense. I'm gonna bring this up because I want to see more of that skyline there, right? Then I save it, Control S to save it, Control W to close out of that window. It's updated. Now my markup is updated, Control S, Control W. And I do this for each of my products that I'm going to show a customer. Now, there may be something where the image is too close to the top or something needs to be moved, nudged, turned off, turned on. But for right now, this looks perfect. Let's go to this Pringles can over here, see what we're dealing with. Okay. I like how the little circle is just right there. This looks good. Now, if I want for my Pringles can strip, maybe I want to use my little glitter instead. Okay. Boom. Now I got my glitter on there instead. All right. Cup looks good. Water bottle looks good. But if I need to go check the rest of the label, make sure everything's good. It's got my QR code. And y'all scan your QR code, make sure it works. I'm not gonna tell you why that issue came. Actually, the kids brought it up to me. They scanned a little code and they were like, Auntie, is that QR code supposed to go to something? It went to my old website and I needed to go to a new website. All right, so chip bag there looks good. Cupcake topper, see how this one, because of my background there, I can do a little bit better with this. Let me get my little energy ball in the middle. Boom, just like that. I'm happy with that. Control S, Control W. All right. And I'm not going to do too much changing because technically I would need to change these inside of my vault version of the Automizer. That way, all of the products I go through, and this is why it takes me so long too, because each product I will go through, the 180 something products, I will go through each of those and make sure that, you know, the background and foreground makes sense together, that if we have any text, it's not hanging off or looking crazy. So that's what I do. All right. So now at this point in time, let me show you the next part of the Automizer. No, you thought that was it, but that's not it. It's not it. Now, what I do want you to do is go ahead and do your save here. Close out of any other files that you have open for this next part, including If you have this master file, go ahead and save that. And now you see why I was adding all that additional text to the master file. Yes, it took me a little time to get my master file up to par, but now anytime I go back and I change that, excuse me, y'all, to any other theme or any other project, I have those extra pieces of text ready for me to edit. All right. Nikki, if you bought the 327 Automizer, then you should have this one right here. As a matter of fact, you should even be able to get into the Zoom room right now. Now, keep in mind, it was specifically for this 327 Automizer. There was no, if you purchased the previous Automizer, you got this one. It was, you had to just purchase it brand new because there's so many products in there. This is a brand new product. And that's how the Automizers will be going forward. Each one, I'll make sure that I have a significant addition of products and things of that nature. And it will be its own price point. Okay. All right. So I think all of these are updated. We're going to go ahead and create PNGs because right now I could go into each of these and I can make a PNG of this mock-up. So I would go to File, Export, Quick Export as PNG. And I'm just going to save them right here in my download, or let's make a little folder for them. All right, so I'm just going to save that as my test PNG for the mockup. Then I would go into the banner itself. And because it's in preview mode, let me remind y'all, I can go ahead and make this a PNG. It is not going to be the correct size. It's going to be the preview size. Your job is, if that person says, yes, I want this big, beautiful banner or this backdrop, you're going to need to go to image, image size, change that image size to 150 pixels per inch. It's going to take a little while for it to look how much bigger that is, okay? Then we're going to go to File, Export, Quick Export as PNG. What you're going to do is change the file name. Instead of preview, now you're going to put print instead of preview. And you can even put print 150 ppi. Okay, the reason why you're doing that is because you want to make sure that you clearly delineate between your preview images and your large scale printable images. Now, what I'm going to do here as well is take the image size back down to 15 pixels per inch before I save this, okay? All right, so if I were to save this, I have to make sure that it's in my preview mode, which is 15 pixels per inch. I'm not saving anything because I don't want to change anything here. Okay. All right, so that's what I would have to do to each of these products. Open it up, save the mockup as a PNG, open it up, save the printable as a PNG. But if I use this feature, I'm going to go to Automate and then Batch. Let me see. Did I redo? We'll go to my actions. Go to yours. Okay. So I'll show you real quickly how to install the action. This is it right here. It's called Automizer Action. All right. And now you'll see it's there on yours. I just selected this Automizer to PNG. All right, and I forgot it has this update all modified content too, which is a cool little button to use. All right, so Automizer to PNG. Don't worry about this Automizer preferences. It doesn't work on all systems, and so we just end up setting the preferences. If you watch the video tutorial, it'll show you how to do all of your preferences set up. But for this, I'm going to do Automizer to PNG, just so I can make sure that on my Automizer I have a whole PNG folder. That's where I'm going to save everything. Oops, and let me go ahead and save this too. Let me save my little file here. I think that the Photoshop updated, so I may have to show y'all all the things that we normally do. I don't want to, but I may just have to do that. Preferences, general. Skip transform when placing. I put that on so that I can pull in a lot of images at once. Yeah, I have to go back and change these settings. I think when I updated my Photoshop, it overrode all of my settings. So here we go. File handling. I'm going to make sure that I enable legacy save as, and then I hit don't show again, and then okay. Do not append copy to file name. I don't want it to have copy as the file name. I want it to have the original file name. Let's see. Automatically save recovery information every 5 minutes. I have that on. Let's check my performance. At least it saved my performance is 90%. Usually this is set to 70%. So I would set that to 90%. And you could choose your huge pixel dimensions here so that it understands that you're going to be working with some large documents. Image processing, I use for the remove background, I use the cloud. Scratch disk, my scratch disk is struggling right now because I've been doing a lot of work on the Automizer. Let's see. Plugins, make sure you have enabled generator turned on to use your master files, because that's how it creates that magical asset folder for you. You have to have enabled generator turned on here. And I think that's it. All right, I have this saved. Now, let me go ahead and see if my batch automation is going to work. The set is the Automizer. Boom, is there. The action is the Automizer, the PNG. The source is going to be a folder. We're going to choose the folder. Now, the source is where are we getting this stuff from? Go to your Automizer All folder, and on the videos, I show you how to create your folder, where to put your folder, how to make sure that OneDrive is not sabotaging your files and making your life hard. Okay. All right, so I'm on Automizer All. Now I'm going to pull this from my 304 customer pack links folder. All right, and it's going to pull the images from there, pull the files from there, and it's going to create some images inside of my whole PNG folder. Now, if you didn't already have this set up, then you can go to choose. You can go to your Automizer All folder, go to your whole PNG folder. And then what I like to do is I like to make sure that I don't have anything extra in my whole PNG. See, I don't have anything but this that I just saved in there, right? And that's fine. All right, what I want to do now is make sure that my whole PNG folder, that's where everything's going. All right, I'm going to hit OK. And then what it's going to do is go through each of my little elements, each of my mockups, each of my printable files, and it's going to create a PNG for me automatically. Okay. You'll see it making it right now. I like to peek in on it, check in on it, go to my whole PNG folder, see how it's making these little things for me. That's how I know it's working. All right, so now it's going and it's creating my individual elements first. And sometimes it mixes it up. It's making what it's making right now. I'm just letting it operate. And mind you, this is for the 304 design. So I didn't have anything yet for this 304 design with this setup in mind. All right, now you see it's starting to make some of my mock-ups. It's cooking those. I didn't have to go in and individually save all of those PNGs. Those are ready to upload to my Shopify, to my Etsy. Those are ready to go. And they have a transparent background. All of those products there. Now, this is wonderful for your customers. I'll show you a little something. I guess I'll give you a little something, a little bonus. Why not? We're only 3 hours in. I only gave y'all 3 hours of extra time this weekend. But I was really excited for you all to be able to experience this and have a tool that hopefully helps you cut down on your design time and your production of those individual designs. Yes, you can resize the banners, D. You'll do that from inside of the editable, printable version of the file, but I wouldn't do that to the Automizer file itself. I would do a save as and just make a copy of whatever the original banner size is. So for instance, we have, believe it's a 2x6 banner. It'll tell you on there what the size of the banner is. So you can make it a 36 by 48 or whatever size you want it to be. Okay, now this one is almost done. These are, those are the mock-ups. These are the printable files. So this is an actual 2" by 2" exact size image that we would print for the cupcake toppers. This is the exact 8.5 by 2" water bottle label. That cake topper, if you were just going to print it out as one piece as is, that's it. Now, I do show you, I have a whole class showing you if you want to do the cake topper with the individual elements. That's also a part of this template. You can open up those things and produce the individual printouts here. You can show the outline part here. That's basically the offset. It'll print all of those pieces, and then you can take them over to your cutter and do the layers and all that stuff. That was a big file to work on too, y'all. That and the Pringles. And see how this is giving me the strip for the Pringles. It's giving me the can, and then it should also give me the top. That's the Pringles can top. And it should give me the little pop out. Yep, this is the little, nope, I lied. Where is it? There's the Pringles pop up. So basically the little part that goes inside the dome, it even has that propagate separately. All right, so that gives us all of our printables from the front and back of the pillow, the all over shirt. Now, like I said, if it says the word preview at the end, do not send that to a printer. That 48 by 96 is just a preview. You're going to do like how I showed you earlier with the banners. You're going to go ahead and create those at 150 pixels per inch. Save it as a PNG, and then make sure that you don't save it as 150 pixels per inch as the editable file. You just let it go back to the 15 pixels per inch. Just hit cancel and don't even save anything. All right, so that's that. As far as now showing your customers, your clients, I'm going to close out of this one. Now let's go ahead and with our whole PNG. See how we have these elements here? We're going to make a folder now. And technically, I already have a folder for the 318. No, I don't have one for 304. So we'll make a 304. We already have one, 304. And then we'll just replace those files that are there. If you didn't already have anything in there, then you would just save them. All right. That's it. And then, of course, you can take each of these images here and you'll be able to use them as your thumbnail images for your Shopify store, for your Etsy store. You can even use them for your social media to show off. And let me see. If you've been missing the AI classes, either you can enroll in individual classes or you can become a member. We have an AI membership, and then we have the membership that includes AI and the Photoshop in the Craft to Quit program that we're doing. That's what I would recommend if you want the hands-on kind of all-inclusive all around. But if you don't do anything else, at least starting with the AI will give you a good background, good starting point. All right, I'm looking for the class where we were doing our mock-ups with the multiple images. It's a little farther back, but we're gonna find it. We're gonna get to it. All right, and if there's anything that you all want to learn that we haven't touched on yet, please let me know. All right, this is making our own mock-up images from scratch. All right, this is where it's loading a little bit slower. Y'all see my internet connection acting a fool in real time. All right. And those are storyboard images. Yeah, we've done a lot, y'all. All right, I'm going to copy this prompt here. As a matter of fact, let's see if I can just reuse this one. All right, it says create a high-end commercial product photo shoot scene using the uploaded product image. I'm going to put images as a source for all items. So we're going to do this where we drop the individual items in here. And where are my images? All right, so we're going to do the cake topper. I noticed that the more products you put on here, and let's do our mock-up. We're going to do all the mock-up images instead. So in here, just going to put the word mock. So we get our chip bag, cupcake, fan, pillow. We'll just do the front of the black t-shirt, front of the all over t-shirt. Where's my Pringles can? My cake. This is going to be difficult for it to do that door banner, but I'm going to see what it can do. Let's do a water bottle. That's 13. That's not going to work. I'm getting too ahead of myself. Let go of one more thing. All right, that's 10, I believe. I want to say you can do 10 products for most of the AI design generations. Some of them limit that. And look how it's taking a long time to load these. So what I'll do also, I'm just going to create a little square board here, 12 by 12 inches, 150 pixels per inch. And I'm going to drop these 10 products on here. Now this is a hack. Doesn't always work because it loses a lot of detail sometimes, but this is a hack if you want to use multiple images, but you don't want to upload multiple images in AI. But like I said, this hack does cause some decrease in quality, okay? I'll turn on my auto select to make it a little bit easier here. Put the cupcake here. And see how I can best fit my products on here. All right, so this doesn't have to be perfect. The idea here is I have like a combination of products here. So I'll go ahead and do a quick export as PNG here. This is why I was saying the stages are no longer necessary, because the stages are going to change based on what you produce, what's in the Automizer and all. So basically I just made a real quick testing stage. And this is for my customer pack. Let's going back to AI. And I don't think it even uploaded all of my images there. That's how bad this uploading situation is. So I'll just copy all of that. A refresh. Oh, maybe it did upload them. It was just taking a mighty long time. Now I hit generate, but I didn't see it start making anything. So usually, yeah, that's supposed to be spinning. Then I have like a blank image that'll start in that left top corner. I just think it's stressed out quite a bit with all of the live and the, automizer going and working the computer system as well. So Just getting rid of these images so that I can do that singular image that has the multiple products on it. Ooh, Lord, where's that little X? Here we go. All right, so now I'm telling it to make some kind of mock-up off of these products that are on this quote unquote stage, and I'm going to see if that takes it a little less time. It is just really taking its time here. All right, I'm just saving this as a stage customer pack just so I have it just in case we need to come back to it. I'm going to close out Photoshop. See. Oh, look at that. Now, I don't like how my stole is kind of going behind the design here. But y'all, look at that. All right, so this is one of those prompts that we did probably about 2 months ago. Y'all, we do so many classes. Please sign up for us to. Let's just show you what we've been doing recently in the Academy for Photoshop and for AI. Even those that just bought the Automizer, because some of y'all just bought the Automizer, but it's going to be beneficial for you to have access to the other classes because they teach you how to build into the top level of what we're doing right now. All right, so you can join the AI Creative Club for just $27 a month, and we do weekly AI classes. All right, then you'll see all of the things that I was just showing you how we were doing. This is several weeks worth of learning and training. This is not just, we just popped up and showed y'all one day how to do everything you could possibly do for graduation or event design in a single AI class, okay? So that's going all the way back, graduation, holiday, photo restoration, kids' parties, sports, back to school, baby showers, family reunions, event design, tablescape design, all of those different things. And this goes back, I believe, about 2.5 years, okay, of AI. And then we go back I believe 4.5 years for Photoshop classes. And these are all resources. So each one has a prompt book. It has the ways that you create the files identical to how I created the files. Some of them even give you the assets and the files that we created, okay? So this is what we're doing in Photoshop. We just made a DJ booth, showed you how to do a desk wrap, showed you how to create a template from a locker that we designed in AI, standees, showed you how to design things like these denim jackets inside of Photoshop to make it to scale, to make it, the mock-up of it, all of that great stuff. And as you can see, we don't stop. We just keep growing. And we don't play with it. We get paid with it over here. So just make sure that even if you bought the Automizer, that you understand that there's concepts and cores that can really help you build on what you're doing even inside the Automizer. Okay. And this is actually pretty good. I would say that, I would take one of those Oliver shirts off. I think that it kind of duplicated the Oliver shirt rather than one of the 13 by 19s. But I mean, just imagine the time that it takes for us to build these type of things inside of Photoshop. And this made it look clean. You might want to tell it to have most of the products standing up. where people could see them instead of flat lay, but I think this particular prompt tells it to lay some of the items flat. All right, so just showing y'all that you got all that you need at your fingertips. Matter of fact, that AI class, I don't even remember which one it was. Y'all know the numbers better than me. Where we did our mock-ups and everything. I think that was, we had 110, 113, 111, 112. All those were dealing with mock-ups in AI for different reasons. All right, so that's that. That's it for my demo. I just want to show y'all what to do with the products afterwards. And of course, within your whole PNG folder, these images here, you could just upload those directly to your Shopify store or to your Etsy store. These are ready to go graphics, ready to go mock-ups, and then you're ready to print graphics. I take off the word mock-up. This is your luggage tag that you would print in the exact size it should be for sublimation, or if you're doing some of these items as DTF, decals, and that sort of thing, you can do all of that. All right, so that's it. Let me check in my chat here. See if I have any questions. The Hershey bar template, the size is for the regular size, not the, I know there's like a smaller size, like a fun size version of it. Okay, so if you're going to save these to an external drive, so for instance, I have an external drive I've been testing out. So these are all of my old Automizers, right? I got a lot. But what I do is I make sure that I transfer them all, like the whole folder, even if I was doing this one at a time. So let's say if I had my 125 green grad, I would bring that entire folder, edited not the same way that I showed you how to do the whole PNG folder on the computer. I would do a whole PNG folder here. And I think I have a version of it. Yep. So I have like a whole PNG folder on here. I was testing it out, and everything worked just fine. It's the same exact principle. You would just set up your files, put your action on there, make your whole PNG file be a folder, be on your external hard drive, and just unzip your files here on your external hard drive. Okay. So I did test that out for you all. Let me see if I have any more questions. Yeah, so the Google Drive does definitely, because the Google Drive still technically uses your hard drive space. That's what I have. But I noticed that, like, for instance, when I'm working on multiple Automizers and multiple large files at a time, my Google Drive actually maxed out my C drive. That's why I started designing on my hard drive. Because what it does is Google assumes that you're working on this file and you want to have access to it maybe for the next 48 hours or 72 hours. So it keeps it available in the temporary memory of your computer. Well, I didn't want that thing to be accessed, once I saved it and closed it. I wanted it to go to the cloud and be done with it. But because it leaves it open for those couple of days, basically it's taking up hard drive space on your system. So that's why I started saving it to my external hard drive. So then that way, Google Drive isn't trying to back that up. However, I still do manually back up the ones from my external hard drive. I just don't let Google Drive automatically back those up, if that makes sense. Yes, there'll be a replay for this 327 in the back end, absolutely. The only thing that's showing right now is that the old 318 vault. So right now, once I get off of this live, I'll go ahead and give you all the link for the 327 and the 125. I have to run the 318 or the 304 that I just did. Okay. And then I may go ahead and do 318 as well, since I've already kind of given y'all the old version of 318. We'll see. Okay. All right. But that's it for now. Y'all have the 318. You can work with it right now. I'm going to see, do you all want to leave this Zoom room open? I don't know if Coach Nancy's here. I know Coach Nancy can help answer some questions about Automizer as well, do some demonstrations. Is Coach Nancy here? Let me see. Yep, she's here. So if anyone wants any additional help, now I will tell y'all this, she may stay in this room and help y'all a little bit for this next hour if there's any questions that y'all have so she can demonstrate. But if you would like to have like one-on-one help, she does offer one-on-one help. Are there any other of my Craft to Quit members who have been helping others with the Automizer who want to be identified as folks that can help with the Automizer as well? If so, speak now so I can recognize you to give you some props so that those that are in the room who may be struggling with it may be reaching out to you. Okay. Yeah, Michelle, I know you definitely, and you even customize the Automizers and all. Okay. And customer happiness, would you make note of the folks, Coach Nancy, Michelle Harley, said Deshanta. Am I saying it right? Because I know I was calling you Deshanta and that was wrong, right? Or is it Deshanta and Deshanta's wrong? Tell me which one it is so I can correct myself right now. Okay, Coach Nancy is here. Awesome. Deshanta. Look, you spelled it out for me phonetically. You know me, girl. That's what I thought. Because I was trying to make you too much on my side. I was trying to make you a Shannon, a Deshanta. That's what I was trying to do. Okay. Deshanta. Okay, my love. So let's go ahead and notate the folks that want to be able to help out with the Automizer so we can refer folks to them. Because I am not teaching the Automizer. I am not going to do a walkthrough class on it. I have created so many videos. I need to focus my attention on making more Automizers, more products, and doing those features that we need inside of there. Okay. So with that said, we have enough clones of me, and I can even say that better versions of me, because y'all work with the Automizer way more than I do, that can help walk you through. But you do have the videos if you want hands-on help. I encourage them to charge at least $60 an hour for their time, because it does, take a lot of skill to be able to offer that hour up and not be working on your designs and your projects that you have going on. So for right now, my Craft to Quit members are the only ones that will be able to offer that. And I'm not taking no cut of it. I'm not managing it, anything like that. If you all need the Zoom room, then you can let me know, because I'll even make the Zoom room available for you all. All right. And then in that case, if anyone wants to stay, customer happiness, if you don't mind making those folks who want to help what do you call it? Co-host. All right. I'm going to stop the YouTube feed right now, and then we'll stop the Zoom recording as well. And we'll just do a fresh Zoom recording of the Zoom room once I'm gone. That way we just have some quality assurance, and we can go back and see if anyone needed any help, if anyone struggled, we would have all that recorded. All right, and this will give me an opportunity to go ahead and upload those files we just created. I'm so glad you all appreciate this. I'm so glad you all give me grace. You tolerate all of the randomness that comes up and the chaos that comes up in my life, and that I do my best not to allow it to transfer to yours. but to actually offer you some assistance and some solace. Thank you all for doing the same thing for me. I love you and I appreciate you dearly. I'm gonna head up out of here, but customer happiness, you can make we'll say our honorary coaches and Coach Nancy co-host. Customer happiness, if you don't mind, I know we've been on for some time. If it's possible, I would like for you to set aside a time where we can show our coaches to be how to navigate Zoom and how to create breakout rooms. If you're taking notes for that, it doesn't have to be tonight, of course, because this has already been a long day. But how to create the breakout rooms so that they can have individual sessions. And then that way, Hannah, you don't have to be the one that always supervise the Zoom room. As long as we have it open and we set it up, we can leave that open. And then we have coaches that we can trust to manage the Zoom room. And we'll talk a little bit more about that too, Hannah, but just putting that on your brain is that's where the next place where we need help. Okay. All right. So I'll leave this Zoom room open for this next hour. And I won't be in here. I'll be uploading files and getting things prepared, but you all know where to find me. Monday, which is tomorrow, we're going to do our Photoshop class, okay? Monday, 8 p.m. We do Photoshop on Monday now and AI on Thursday now, okay? All right, I appreciate you and I love you dearly. And until next time, bye.